In this session, we are going to be having a look at how to leverage AI to seamlessly integrate and automate compliance topics like Automotive ASPICE. We are going to be focusing on ASPICE, but the same holds true for ISO 26262 or any other quality framework standard internal policies you might have. So, let's start by the initial problem statement, right? So in an engineering process, you are always starting from the customer perspective, right? And the customer might have certain requirements as per what they expect from your product. In our case, it's some sort of car or in-vehicle systems. In ASPICE, this is being called systems customer requirement specification. And in any development project, what we would do is from those requirements we would go ahead and actually derive, so our product managers, the ones with the hat on, like the bosses. Previously it might have been like a mix of project managers and business owners. So, but in more agile contexts, it's product managers and product owners, and still like the key stakeholders from the company. They actually see, can we accept those customer requirements, or do we have to ask for reviews? And when they say, right, this is fine, we accept this, they would go ahead and actually break those requirements down into technical, not necessarily technical requirements, but do the systems requirements elicitation, which would become, like in America, oftentimes it's like the PRD, product requirements design specification. In our case, it's the Lastenheft. You might have heard that. And we're not done yet. So from there, we would basically go ahead and say, right, this is what we need to build, or what we are gonna what we are gonna be building. And from there on, of course, we have to go to the next step and actually have a look at the design as per like how are we gonna build this. And the architecture design, this is usually where the system architects and software hardware architects come into play. And those folks, they actually go ahead and see, can we realize those requirements? If not, we definitely have to go a couple of review loops, and this basically progresses up to the customer. From there on, ASPICE basically thinks of this as like, this is the system level, and then we go software level. So this is, here we have SYS, and here we have the SWE. So if you think like we're going here basically, so then in our next step, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be looking at, okay, from this architecture design, we have a range of components, right? And each of those components is going to be a software component that has to follow again through this logical breakdown or reasoning of requirements elicitation, then architecture design, and then what ASPICE folks love is like the detailed design, which is SWE3. You see it's all left side, so we are going to be looking at the testing side as well, but this is now for now the left side of the so-called V cycle, right? So if you look at this, this is basically the left leg of a V. So we have again requirements and so on for each component, right? It just makes sense logically if we from the component breakdown basically go through the end-to-end specification again. So here we have, as we said, requirements, architecture, and software detailed design. And now the worlds look a bit more different between the old ways of doing things, where here we might have had like the requirements engineers, and here we would have had like architects again, and here we would have had like the software devs. But in the agile way of working, what we see is that often here we have like PO plus devs plus architect, which is often like also one of the developers, right? But oftentimes we don't have specific requirements engineers. And same holds true, like here PO devs plus architect, and here PO devs plus architect, where what I also have seen a lot of the times that detailed design is not really being practiced anymore, but we are more coming from test-driven development kind of approaches, where we design unit tests which serve as, when they are passed, like when all unit tests are passed, as our detailed design proof basically. Yeah, let's stop here maybe briefly, and in the next step we would be looking at like the end-to-end testing loop.